recap. Street is jumping. Tonight there'll be a brawl.
What is up, radishes and radites unite? Because Uncle Rad is taking over. The background has gone green, but we're still here for the screams, man. Because Uncle Rad is having a holiday special tonight. So what the hell does that mean? We're in the middle of between Christmas and New Year's. So what I figured we would do, I really don't have any kind of plan for this show, other than if you want to hop onto this show and show like what you got for Christmas, that it's horror related, cult related, physical media related, you can do that. Just let me know and I'll send you a link. If not, then I'm just going to show some of the stuff that I got, and we're going to do an old timey Dead Pit show. I know that's what everybody wants. I know they don't want the new BS Dead Pit show with Uncle Bill and, all just the nonsense going on over there right now. So we're going to go through some news. We're going to talk about some reviews. And then, we don't have a guest, but like I said, it was spur of the moment. So Radstreet is back in effect. And that's what we're going to do, man. So let's see who we got in the chat. Jeez. Okay, we got the man. Oh my God, this dude. Scream Bloody Gore, whoever you are the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, funky like a monkey. Oh yeah. Afrowell, it's good to have you in here, man. Radkins, my old buddy Radkins. No, man, I've never been banned per se. I just, that's how it is. They tried to ban me, but they can't. Oh, Curly Jaws is in here. Fuck yeah. Gus. Carlos, man. Macboy Color. Crash is in here. Suspiria Knight is in here. All kinds of people are in here. Twisted Trucker, Brett Stroll, Tales from the Tape. Oh, Jay Muse from Jay and Silent Bob's in here. Oh my God, man. There's a ton of people. Ken Carlson, Stuntman Mark. Rambo's in here. Rambo, I watched your stream the other night, man. That was pretty cool. It was rad, if you will. Mama Blu-ray. There's only one guy, unless somebody has got the testicles to get on this stream and show off their stuff. But I highly doubt it, because for some reason, we've got a bunch of people that won't get on camera. 4K Tent Revival's on here. Cream of the crop. And Sean, I've been watching your freaking series. Awesome stuff, since he's my favorite director. I am glad, and he's one of my favorites too, and also one of Uncle Bill's favorites. And hopefully gets more eyes on him. I know he's one of those guys that's just kind of gotten passed over with time, but he's like one of the best genre directors ever. Okay, so here's the deal. Ask any kind of questions that you want, or make any kind of comments that you want. I'll read them off as soon as I get a chance. Also, if you want to join the stream, you can join the stream, whoever. But if not, we're going to go old school with like a Dead Pit style show. And at the end of this, I've got something that I think it'll blow everybody's mind if you hang around to the end, because I don't think I've ever been able to go through these. I found these in my collection a couple nights ago, and it'll be well worth your wait to hang around and see what this is. So it's kind of like a Christmas Day miracle that I found all this stuff. And I was going to go through them on camera and just kind of talk about some of this stuff. So we'll do that later on. But for right now, let's just kick it old school. Let's go with the news first off. Oh, let's see here. The news sucks. There ain't nothing new coming. There's nothing new going on. It's a bunch of trash. So I can pretty quickly get through this. There's a Winnie the Pooh movie coming out. Why? I don't fucking know. There's another Five Nights at Freddy style movie coming out. They've already been like 10 of those, but I guess this is like the official adaptation. So they got a director for it. It's got Matthew Lillard in it. Oh my God. Rambo. If you want to join, hold on one second. I can send you a link. Yes, indeed. Because that's just how crazy technology is nowadays. Let's just copy this. Oh no, I think I pretty much read those notes off from Victor Salva. It's basically just him being like, "Hey man, thanks for being like the only person that ever really talks to me anymore." All right. Alright, do that. Then I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to have to do this shit. While I'm doing all this, y'all talk quietly amongst yourselves. I'm going to try to bring Rambo into this fucking nonsense. So I think I'm just going to send it to your Instagram. Or shit, I hope you got Instagram. If not, then it's going to be harder than I thought. But yeah, for those of y'all unfamiliar with the story about Victor Salva, he did send Uncle Bill some disturbing letters. And I'm sure that Uncle Bill doesn't want to get into that, but they're very graphic, and I just think that for his privacy, that would probably be best to be left alone. But I don't know, you know, I don't know how much of that he wants to get into or not. There was talk of some Spartan kind of stuff, so. But Victor Salva's. Oh, Kevin Smith's in here. Kevin Smith says, for God's sake, don't put Rambo on here. He's too mean. God. Yeah, that's something else we can talk about too if he comes on here. When and if is that new Clerks 3 movie that I recently sat through. Lord. Just take a moment to pray for the end of Kevin Smith's career. All right, Matt, I've sent you the link. Oh. All right, let's see what we got going on. Good Lord, I've missed like 5,000 questions on here. You have to go to bed in a minute. Radkins, shut your mouth and get in here. Nobody's going to bed on the 26th. Stuntman, neither did I, really. And that's another thing I'm going to go into is like I've got a bunch of stuff ordered, but I don't have I didn't get a bunch of horror related stuff. Brett asked if I've seen the new Argento. Yeah, man. It's on Shudder right now for anybody that wants to attempt to watch it. I highly recommend that you don't. I couldn't get through it. I tried, and I kind of could see what he was going for. It's a new age kind of giallo movie, but the production value and like the acting and stuff in it, I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. Let's see. Yeah. Apollo says he recommends Friedkin's movie about the Brinks heist. It's really gritty and realistic. As all his movies are kind of gritty and realistic, to be honest. But yeah, that's one that I have actually not seen. Afro Willis. I'm really going to go see this movie though. Cocaine Bear. For those not familiar, this was a real story, and it's actually been made into a damn movie now. Where there was a bear in, I think it was like between Kentucky and Tennessee, that got a hold of a bunch of cocaine that was dropped from an airplane, and like in the real story, like the bear just like goes crazy, eats all the cocaine, and then like drops dead of a heart attack. But in this movie, it looks like it's like going on like a killing spree after like consumes all the cocaine. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Uh, mhm. Why didn't? That's a good question, man. Why didn't Salva hit on CK? I don't know. He just wasn't his type, I guess. Kevin Smith wants me to give him $5 to $10 so he can make moose jaws. I don't think he'd have to give me fucking $50 to go see a movie like that. Uh, how many people got gift cards, by the way, like Amazon or otherwise? Because that's an interesting thing this time of year too. So, not reading that. Okay, so uh, other than Five Nights at Freddy, let's see. I thought this was kind of interesting because I'm like one of the few people that I think amongst our group of people that actually like this series. But the new Fear Street series, Fear Street 4, actually picked up, I believe it picked up a director. So I don't know if anybody actually really enjoyed the Fear Street series, but I did for some reason. Um, so the entire trilogy was premiered in July of last year, and of course they're based on the Goosebumps films. Um, so basically, the entire cast is back, and there's a dude named, I'm gonna butcher this name, Chloe Akano, who is going to be the director of the new Fear Street series. So strap your pants on for that. Um, all right, so some things. Now it's just kind of got like some things that are coming out soon, and I've already ordered this shit. If you can order this kind of stuff, I've already ordered it. So there's a new steelbook. It's a 4K steelbook of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original. I'm going to go ahead and level with you. Like, I'm sick to death of any kind of physical media that has to do with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But this steelbook looks amazing. And it's on sale right now. It's like 25% off on Amazon. So if you're going to buy this damn thing, like, now would be the time. Like, I mean, if you're going to pre-order it, now would probably be the time to pre-order it. It'll probably go down to about $15 after all this is said and done. But it may sell out. You don't know. But so there's two different versions. There's one that's like a standard edition that has like a close up of the eye. I forgot who did that art. And then there's like the one that's the classic like Bryanston movie poster. That's the steelbook. So those are coming out. Uh, and I don't know, some part of me, like the fanboy part of me, like they've got me on that. So I had to get that. And some other stuff coming up too that I went ahead and ordered. Um, I don't know how much shit would be left right now, but there's a bunch of t-shirt companies that are having like sales, and I think Gutter Garbs is one of them. Fright Rags is one of them. I don't know if I think Cavity Colors might be, but Cavity Colors sales are like, oh hey, it's $25 or whatever. So no, but I went ahead and ordered from Gutter Garbs. I got an Anthrax shirt, a Rock and Roll High School shirt, and a Halloween 3 shirt, and they were all like $15, 12 to $15. Fright Rags were both these were $10. I got a Pumpkinhead shirt and a Slumber Party Massacre shirt. Anything like that that's like 10 to 15, I'm gonna buy it, man. Like, and those shirts like are normally in the 20s somewhere range, but and I actually like the shirts that are kind of like odd and obscure and not many people would pick them up or anything. Because you've got like here's the problem with shirts nowadays. You got fucking Evil Dead, Army of Darkness. You got Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween. Like there's 4,000 shirts like that, and they all basically look exactly the same. And I probably got half of them in there, but it's like at some point you kind of start turning to the more kind of obscure titles and things like that. And they all seem to license the same shit at the same time for some reason. I also ordered. Garrett will get a kick out of this if he's still on here. I also ordered the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 Severin. It's called Night Killer, but there was a really limited run, and it was the last one that I didn't have in that series of like Severin Blu-rays where they got in trouble for kind of like copyright infringement and stuff like that. Um, so I ordered that off eBay, and that should be coming in soon. For those people that don't know, like Severin did this thing, and I wish to God they still did it, but I'm pretty sure they got sued, or if they didn't, then they came pretty close, where they would have like regular, crappy like rip-off versions of these movies, but they would put the titles of like American movies on them. So you had like Jaws 5, which was actually Cruel Jaws. You had Night Killer, which they put Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 on. You had Terminator 2, which I think was Shocking Dark, something like that. And there was just this series where they just like, I guess maybe at that time they weren't big enough to really get caught up in that bullshit. So they just, but anyway, I've kind of spent the last little while trying to find all these, and I finally got them all. So that was kind of like a Christmas present to myself, so to speak. There's a lot of people hating on Fear Street on it. Okay, fair enough. Any upcoming releases that I'm excited for? There might be a 4K release of The Abyss. I saw that too, which Cameron's kind of been hinting at that for a while. Um, I'm going to tell you something like, aside from the original Terminator, that might be like my favorite Cameron movie. Like, I probably watched that damn thing 100 times growing up. So, I mean, if that came out in 4K, I mean, that's one of those titles that's like that would look insane in 4K, man. The special effects in that movie still hold up to this day. Which, speaking of Cameron, like I haven't seen Avatar yet, the second Avatar. I know a lot of people are like jizzing their pants over the effects in that movie. So I'm kind of like curious to see it. That will not be one that I probably go out and like see in the theater. I don't care that much about the Avatar movies, but I will definitely see it as soon as it comes out on anything else. Joe Jack says about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Steelbook, he's waiting on the second sight TCM release. That's another thing too. They are coming. Second sight kind of pissed me off though, so I don't know. I'm not really really give a shit with that Martin bullshit that they pulled. Which, by the way, is another thing that I ordered, but I didn't order it from their site because they didn't let me. Oh no, Matt, you can't look. You can't slow down ever on collecting, brother. There's dudes, man, that make a whole like living off of just like buying shit and then showing it on here. So you can't ever stop. Never stop stopping. Can't. Never stop, never stopping. Yeah. Stuntman Mark makes a good point. He says the Abyss is amazing, but where is the True Lies 4K? That's an awesome point. That's another one. Man, there was a time period when Cameron was just. I don't think he ever really. Did he have a time period where he sucked? Like most directors, even like the best ones, like Scorsese and your Coppolas and your. Like they've got some period where they were just like awful. And I mean, granted, like I'm not going back and watching Titanic every day of my life, but I mean the movie made like $1 billion. So, was there ever a period where he just was making shit movies? I don't know. I can't think of it because in the '90s he made Terminator 2, True Lies. In the '80s he made you know Terminator. I think it was the Abyss in the late '80s or early '90s. I want to think it was the late '80s. But yeah, I mean that would be another one that would be amazing. Hold on, I'm gonna see what's going on with Rambo. I sent him the link. I don't know. If you're on here, Matt, and you got the link, let me know. I sent it to Instagram. I don't know where else to send it. Through Instagram, that is. Yeah, okay. So, talking about the second sight thing, I wonder if Rubenstein had something to do with the Martin second sight fiasco. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. And that's kind of like what Joe Jack is talking about here, too. So, for those people that don't know, like, there's some bullshit like rights issues where Rubenstein owns like certain rights, and then I think Argento owns some rights to the European version of Dawn of the Dead. Rubenstein owns like a lot of the rights to other films, like the U.S. rights to Dawn of the Dead, and probably owns Martin somehow or another. So he probably did have like a lot to do with it. Which that guy, Jesus Christ, I know. Like we've had interviews with Felster where he takes up for him and he says, he just wants this stuff to be special, and he wants people to, like he's the keeper of the movies now that Romero's gone. And I can kind of get that, but he seems like I've never met anybody else or seen anybody else who's like so hardcore on these damn releases. But anyway, Second Sight just that whole thing just pissed me off. Yeah, this is true. Abyss was the biggest failure box office wise, which is pretty good. He also directed Piranha 2, being fired after 10 days. Yeah. So, yeah, I think The Abyss did not do as well as like anybody anticipated that it would do, but it's kind of become like a cult classic now, too. Tales says that he received several of the Vestron Collector Series Blu-rays and hoping they put out a lot more. Me too, man. Like that's one series. Well, that's some of the stuff that I brought to kind of. Oh shit! I'm not gonna be showing that. One sec. So, yeah, I got this in, which is outstanding. Silent Night, Deadly Night 3 through 5. If you don't have this, it is. I think it's sold. It was out of stock on Amazon. I'm not saying it's sold out, but it was out of stock on Amazon, and it was cheap as hell there for a while. It was like $11. When I got it, I think it was like 14 or 15. But like they had it so cheap that like it was crazy. But you've got to buy this. If you don't have this, like I mean, 3 is insane. 4 is awful, And 5 is probably one of the most batshit crazy unknown cult films that is out there that if you haven't seen, you have to see. And up till now, like these movies have had shit in terms of releases. But this right here, you got Bill Moseley, with a salad bowl on his head. You got Mickey Rooney, Clint Howard. Like you've got to get this set from Vestron, and I've got the dentist set ordered. I don't know when the hell that thing comes out, but I've got that ordered as well. That's also super cheap. Speaking of all that, yeah, man, that's the thing. Like Walmart usually has those releases. Um, you can get them pretty much anywhere, and I bet this one will be like at some point or another. This will be like $10, $12, like at Walmart. If not like 750. There was some point there where they were selling like the other ones for like 750. They weren't like sets though. Matt says, I watched Silent Night, Deadly Night 5 the other night. I forgot about the humping. I love you. Yeah, man. So like Silent Night, Deadly Night 5 is basically like an American version of Burial Ground, mixed with like the Silent Night, Deadly Night series. It's just insane. Kentucky Concater says that The Dentist is a legit good movie. Yeah, like that was back when Corbin Burnson was actually kind of like still a legit actor when he was making, Major League and what's that other movie that he made that was actually fairly good? And he was on L.A. Law, I want to say, around that time, maybe a little bit before that time. But I mean, yeah, he was a fairly decent actor. Uh, are they any? Let's see. Are there any more 80s slasher films you want that hasn't gotten a Blu-ray release yet? So people ask that question a lot, but it's like at this point, so much stuff has gotten a release that I'm not even sure what had. If I say something, somebody will probably be like, "It's already got a release," because I don't know what has or hadn't anymore. And most everything that I've ever wanted to come out has either come out on Blu-ray or even 4K at this point. I mean, so I don't. Vestron put out one of the movies that I was like uh, always wanted to see, which was Blood Diner on Blu-ray. So it's like after that, like I really, Four Flies was another one where I was like I waited on that forever because the Shameless release was like the only release that you could get, and it was Region B, and it was like yada yada yada. It was like $40 or something like that. So I just held off and then bought the Severin one, which by the way, you can sell for like over $100 now if you want to do it on eBay. If you don't like it, I mean, sell it and make a damn profit. That's a pretty decent profit right now. Let's see. Also, picked up this one, and I picked up this one a while back, but just recently got it in. This is the Amityville Curse from Vinegar Syndrome. I believe this is out of print now. And this was a fairly popular one. It's got a badass like slipcover too, if you're into that kind of thing. Um, this is one of those ones that was never released for like the longest time and just recently got like re-released, and it was on Vinegar Syndrome for like the shortest amount of time and sold out unless they restocked it pretty quickly. And so we're gonna pick that up. For those people that didn't see the string that we had the other day, I picked this up at fucking Ollie's of all places. This is a, if I can get it like not reflecting something, which I don't think I'm going to be able to. This is a Big Trouble in Little China board game. It was $15, and I'm sure if you have any Ollie's around you, like you can find this. It's from Upper Deck. It's amazing. I mean, just the look of it's amazing. And for that price, there's no way in hell that you shouldn't buy this. Why is something like this in Aldi's or any kind of like retail store? I have no earthly idea. But it is. And it is amazing. Oh, shit. Okay. Hold on, Matt. I sent it to the wrong thing then. Hell, I don't know who I sent it to. I'm glad it didn't show up, though. All right, now we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now I just sent it over there. All right. Let's see. How many rollerblades do I own? Too many to count, man. You got to gleam gleam the cube. See, now you're kind of like reaching the bottom of the barrel. Rumpelstiltskin needs a Blu-ray release. Does it though? I'm not sure that. I'm not sure it does. Let's see. What about? Ah, no. I wish that was true, man. But that is definitely not true. You can get it for like 30, 20 to $30 on eBay. Matt asked, "What are some of the go-to slashers that I still watch regularly?" Well, there's a lot of them. This one is actually one that I go back to all the time. Madman, of course. Black Christmas, like I watched that one again recently. That movie holds up still to this day, like amazing. Um, there's some thought that that might be the first like modern slasher film, is in the way that we like that identify slasher films, but it's definitely one of my favorites. Blood Diner's another one if you want to call that a slasher film that I always go back to. Um, Good lord, there's so many, man. Slaughterhouse, which I think is just a fun, stupid movie, and there's a lot of those. American Gothic, I love that movie. Um, Such an odd movie. And one that I watch every year around this time is Terror Train, which I used to hate and now think that it's actually not that bad. You know what, Matt? If Kevin Tenney could figure out a way to do this, then I'm about positive that he would put that out in 4K. Okay. Prom Night 2. That is an excellent choice. Carter says that he put his contrast up on his UHD TV, and during the opening credits of Black Christmas, you can see a shadowy Billy walking through the bushes. He's never noticed it before. I don't have the 4K of that. For those of you that do, let me know. Like, is that actually worth like picking up? Because here's my thing with 4K. A lot of times, really amazing Blu-rays of things have really shitty 4Ks. Like it's almost like they and a lot of these companies do this, especially Screen Factory. They'll run it through like an automatic rendering machine, and what it does essentially is it just like pumps all the colors up to where it's like way too oversaturated, and you get a bunch of bullshit that like it just looks like it's way too overproduced. So, I mean, it just let me know if it's actually like decently done. I've got this uh, Jackson Jack Dream a Little Dream. I've got that one, and that one's another one from my childhood that lives on in infamy. What do you think of Nightmare and the Redeemer as slashers? Now, when you say Nightmare, Twisted Trucker, are you talking about Nightmare and the Damaged Brain? Um, because that movie I probably haven't seen in friggin' 15 years. But I remember kind of liking that. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those movies where it just never like stuck with me that much, but I don't remember like being like, "Oh, this is a piece of shit" or anything like that. So Taco Truck 1000 says, "Yes, the picture quality is excellent and the audio is completely restored." Well, fuck, there's another one I'll have to buy then. Speaking of that, there's a couple other things that I picked up, and Matt, I sent you that link to that particular Instagram, so I hope that you got it. All right, so other than the stuff that I mentioned earlier that I've got ordered, the City of the Living Dead 4K. Now, Cauldron Films, aka Diabolic DVD, released this new City of the Living Dead, aka Gates of Hell, aka Fulci's best film. And like I got it as a gift because I just didn't want to buy it. There's some movies I bought so many fucking times that it just makes me like want to punch myself in the head to buy it again. So I just had somebody else get it for me, and like because it was only supposed to be on sale for a weekend, and then they were like, well, you know, we're gonna sell it until it sells out. I think there's 3,000 copies of it, and so I mean I'm sure it'll sell out eventually. It's just man, the set itself is really what I'm buying that for. Like the look of the set itself. Like Blue Underground releases those movies or did release those movies, and they look insane. Like I'll say this to anybody, like any of the 4K releases that you get from Blue Underground, the ones that I've seen anyway, like the freaking any of the Fulci ones, it's ungodly like how well those are done. So I'm not thinking that it's going to like whatever, but and I think Scorpion just released. Like I bought a Scorpion releasing version of Gates of Hell. I think not too long ago. It's like how many damn versions of that movie? I do love the movie. I'm just saying. And also, give the like button a glass bottom boat ride from hell. That's what CK wants you to do. Uh, Now this is another one. I haven't ordered this yet. Did you find any hidden shit in the Halloween 4Ks? That Halloween 4K 90 set, which is what I'm going to call it, is down to about, I think it's $90 right now. I'm just going to keep, like CK was saying, just keep letting it go down. I will eventually buy that, but like, there's no sense buying it for what they got on it right now. I don't know if I like the updated sound effects of the Black Christmas Blu-ray, like doors opening and certain other sounds seem like they're overdubbed. Oh, okay. These new oh, hold on, folks. We got ourselves a menagerie now. Here's the man.
Yeah, now that fucking Kevin Smith stopped hijacking my damn other Instagram, I think it was him that stole the real one because they're making fun of his soy boy ass, fucking crying to every goddamn thing. And fuck Clerks 3, by the way. But thank you for having me on here. Hello, everyone.
No problem, Matt.
But
I was going to say though, man, I actually watched that Clerks 3. God, it was probably 3 or 4 nights ago. I didn't have anything else to do, and it was on, and I watched it, and I was like, wow, this is incredibly depressing. Like, what a way to just be like. And I know some people are going to like that, but like, I didn't think that that's really what that series was about. You know what I mean? Like, I,
oh yeah, it's two people who are enjoying their lives and would you relate to it, and then Kevin Smith decided to just go, you know what, fuck everybody, just kill them all, just because comedies are like funerals, have one guy have a heart attack, have one guy be a complete dick, and then cause another guy have a heart attack, and just kill everybody, and just Kevin Smith's midlife crisis of shame. I don't know what the hell is up with him.
dude, I don't know, but that movie really bummed me out. If you want to like be really bummed out by, that's the one to go to. Yeah,
It's like the
Jesus.
Alien 3 of comedies. I don't. There's a lot of people that like it. I'm sure Tim Smith likes it when he cries at every other Marvel movie trailer for some reason. I don't know what the hell his deal is.
Well, he's got to leave now.
Yeah, I know. You better
So
leave.
yeah,
I'll pal your ass when I find you. I'm going to roll your ass till it bleeds. Kevin Smith. See that picture? He's always crying. Every fucking superhero film and TV show. I don't know why.
I wanted to ask you about
When,
this one too, Matt. While you're on here too, because I just watched this one a couple of nights ago as well, and I was going to do a review of it anyway. So like, Violent Night, and I talked about it with CK and a couple other people. I think. What were your thoughts?
um, I liked it more than others, but folks have to understand. I've seen Clerks 3, so watching stuff like Clerks 3, I liked it for what it was. I liked the whole finale violence and the word shed with all the ice skates and stuff. I could do without some of the uh pacing was a bit off. I liked it more than others, but again, I've seen way worse movies. But it's cool if people didn't like it. I had fun with it,
I got two words
but I've
for
seen
you.
much worse.
I got two words
Sure,
for you that sum up why I don't
suck
think
it.
I like this movie. No,
Sure.
John Leguizamo. I don't know why. I do not know why, man. But every movie that dude is in, he just ruins the movie. Like Land of the Dead, he is a piece of shit in that movie. Like I feel like if he wasn't in that movie, I would probably like it like 100 times more than I do. But him being in this and him having the diatribe about Christmas and all that shit, I was just like, man, like they could have picked anybody else, and I would have liked that movie 1,000 times better. But I just hate like the way that Wes feels about Sam Neill is the way that I feel about John Leguizamo. Like I can't even tell you how much I don't like that guy. But there were parts of that movie that I actually liked. I thought that David Harbour did a good job. I thought that the kid did a good job. I did. I mean,
Mhm.
it's essentially like exactly like Die Hard with like a Santa. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
the the weirdest part of the movie, and this is the part where I was like, I'm not sure if I liked this or didn't like it, is that they play him to be the real Santa. Like I'm thinking, like when I was watching it's just some dude like dressed up like Santa or something. Like because in my mind, I'm thinking if this is a real Santa, like he would just be impervious to bullets and shit. He would just use like magic, and that movie would be like 10 minutes long, and him just like destroying everybody. But they just went a completely different kind of route with it. That he's kind of like,
Yeah, it's like a Santa sleigh for a different generation.
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't mind it for what it was. I figured it would be like the real Santa just to make people think because there's a lot of nowadays, like you mentioned, like they're doing a Winnie the Pooh horror film. It's all this. What
Yeah,
are the craziest ideas would you get to try to get people in the theater? Cocaine Bear is another one,
yeah.
and hopefully that will elicit people to go to the theater, since not a lot of people go into theaters for a lot of other type of movies other than that or superhero films. But
Don't you think that was a wild choice, though? I mean, it's like I guess it's an exploitation movie, really at heart, but like in the middle of all this bullshit, like superhero movies, and like they put like a Die Hard Santa Claus movie out there, and it did pretty well. Like, I mean,
maybe that's one of the reasons I liked it more than others. Like you said, I like David Harbour, even though he was in that really crappy Hellboy movie. Uh,
yes, yes, he was.
which I keep forgetting that was Neil Marshall, which is crazy.
That's another one.
And I like the little girl. The supporting cast with the wannabe actions hero guy and his wife and the twerp who's like a streamer. And I'm like, I could do without them. If they got shot in the head, I'd be like, fine, you're dead, goodbye. But I like the action. I thought it was, like you said, a bit more refreshing and just how it was different. It was fun. I don't mind. Uh, yeah, I thought it was a bit long. I think 10 minutes could have been cut out, but I didn't hate
Yeah.
it. Maybe because I could tolerate John Leguizamo more than you, so I guess he doesn't bother me as much. I liked him in John Wick and others. I mean, come on, man, he was Luigi.
That
How can you hate
motherfucker,
Luigi?
when he comes on screen, I'm just like, no. I'm something just shuts off inside inside me. I'm just like, no. I don't know what it is about him. I just can't. I can't deal with it. Carter says it can't be worse than Jeepers Creepers Reborn. No, it's not anywhere
No.
near like that. Stuntman says the last act is the best. I kind of agree with that. Like that is like one of the best parts of it.
Yeah, it's
How?
good choreography.
Yes. How's it compared to Christmas Bloody Christmas with the Terminator Santa? I haven't seen that, so I don't know. Have you seen it?
No, the first I heard of it was when you guys showed the trailer
Yeah.
a few weeks back, and then YouTube tagged you for like the children or some other stupid trailer.
Yep. Bunch of shitheads. And then they just added all of it back in there like it was nothing that never happened. Wes says Jeepers Creepers Reborn is playing in hell right now. That theme song is, I'll tell you that.
Reborn,
What
God,
the
reborn.
Oh, this is great. Okay, hold on one second. Um,
Oh,
my name is Maria Lorenzo Espinola, originally from Paraguay, but currently living in France. I suffer from a disease that condemns me to death, throat cancer. I have 500,000 euros in my bank account, and I would like to donate it to be honest, serious, and trustworthy person. I have been a widow for 10 years without children. I went through all the special doctors. So if you're interested in this, PM Rubino Fanon, there you go. How the fuck do we get people
send
like
us
this in here?
send us nudes first, and we'll consider.
Send us nudes, yeah. Yeah, tit pics are it never happened.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, that's
Violent
true.
Night.
The right dudes.
Yeah, Violent Night is not based on a South Park episode. I don't think.
No, the last thing that reminded me of was that at the beginning of Scrooge, the night the reindeer died, with Lee Majors protected Santa
Oh
Claus, that
yeah,
fake movie.
yeah, that was awesome. Should stick to being a comedic actor. He's just goofy as fuck. Yeah, that's true. What movie was he in, Matt, with Steven Seagal? I hated that movie too.
Executive Decision. That was with Caruso. That is a bad movie.
Yeah.
That's the one Steven Seagal dies. Him and his, well, he wasn't a fat ass then, but his shitty ass just flew out of the airplane. Which
What
is
the
good.
hell?
It
What
sucked.
the hell is going on here? Like, there's a ton of people saying that Wet Movie sent him. Like, Wet Movie
I
sent
guess
me. Wet Movie
I
sent
guess
me.
maybe he's doing a stream,
That's
and maybe
awesome.
he's like, "Hey, go check out this stream." Maybe sometimes that happens on. I've heard it happen on Twitch, but not on YouTube. But
Holy Lord,
That's why
what
it's called a
movie
Radness.
attacked? Yeah. Y'all, we're getting wet as hell in here. We're moist. We're downright like slimy at this point.
Just
So
like Vince
yeah,
McMahon, 50 women he's with.
that's right. So thanks to Wet Movie for the sending 5 million people over here. He wants the couch payments that we owe him. Okay. Oh, there's a prize too. We got a prize that we got to give away on here. That's
A
fine. I'll
gold plated dick.
give away a prize. All right. So, aside from that, though, I watched another film last night, and I'm still trying to digest how the hell I felt about this one. But you tell me what you think, because you've probably seen it by now, man. The new Knives Out.
Oh no, I didn't see it because Ryan Johnson's directed it. I'm like, this dumb motherfucker made The Last Jedi. I'm kind of out. I mean,
So
what do you feel about the first one?
I love the first one, man. I'm not even gonna lie.
Okay.
Like, absolutely love that movie. Probably seen it like 10 times. Um, this one, not so much. Like, I was just, because the first one to me had like an amazing cast. It was amazingly well written. It was performed well. And this one had Edward Norton. That's your first fucking mistake. But your second mistake is given like the entire movie to Edward Norton, basically. So there's like
Uh,
it's Daniel Craig and Ed Norton and about like 15 minutes of everybody else. And you've got like Kate Hudson's in this movie. Freaking, Dave
Batista?
Deacon Batista is in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of really good like actors and actresses, and it's just a whole lot of like Ed Norton and Daniel Craig, and like so I didn't mind um, the first half of the movie, but when it gets to like the second half where you get the reveal and everything, I was just like, oh shit! It's like one of those movies where like I kind of felt the same way about the Hateful Eight, where like the reveal at the end of the Hateful Eight was I was just kind of like because it built it up so much, and then you get to the end and you're just like, that's it, like that's the whole fucking thing. So I don't know. I mean,
So when you mentioned the Hateful Eight real quick, where do you rank that with Tarantino films?
um, see, this is hard because I love the first half of that movie and absolutely like the reveal and ending I hate.
Mhm.
So if I had to like rank it, it would be behind Django, it would be behind Inglourious Bastards, behind Reservoir Dogs, behind Pulp Fiction. Um, I would put it above Death Proof, and I would put it above Jackie Brown.
Mm.
So wherever that fits in, it'd be like fifth or sixth on the list, I guess. Yeah. What about you?
Um, Honestly, that's probably uh that might be my least favorite Tarantino film because actually I agree with you on the finale, the ending, and for me that's like the most important part of a movie because if you're doing all this journey, especially how long those movies are, if the ending is kind of a wet fart, it's like, well, that was a waste of fucking time. Why do we
Yeah.
watch it? So, uh, Jackie Brown I like because I like the cast and Death Proof I don't mind. Kurt Russell was really interesting. I know Tarantino thinks that's his worst film,
I don't think it is. I beg to differ.
but
I
I
don't
know
think.
Tarantino also thinks that the '80s is one of the worst decades for movies. But whatever that means, I don't get it. But
Did you? I was confused by that too because I'm like, the '80s was like 1985 alone probably had like 30 good movies that are like classics. Like I don't know what exactly he means. Like if he's trying to say like because it was the Reagan era and all that, but they didn't censor shit back in the '80s. Like It's the most violent and like vulgar time period for movies ever.
I guess, I mean, I like the 70s as well, but maybe such as Die Hard 70s, that because the 80s were different from that, it just, uh, those type of action films, that type of stuff. I mean, when you see the movies he makes, Pam Grier and those type of blaxploitation movies,
Yeah,
the martial arts films of the 70s, you didn't see a lot in the 80s, and he's not going to be like a John Claude Van Damme fan. He's not going to be like a Chuck Norris fan. I just don't see it with Tarantino, which is cool, but I am. And
yeah. Jesus Christ, I
I hate
forgot about.
Fullerton. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people saying this, by the way. I would love to get this book, but I don't have it yet. The Tarantino book, Cinema Speculation. Tarantino's a hipster. Yeah, I mean he's kind of like the ultimate hipster, really. What movie does identify as moist? I don't know about this. It says Tarantino visually just rips off Dean Cundy and Carpenter, and that's basically mostly the '80s and shit. I don't know. He rips off a lot of shit. I'm not sure if that like. I mean, for ideas and things like that, he definitely does rip off quite a few movies from the '70s mostly.
Yeah, I don't see John Carpenter. I mean, yeah, he used some of the original Ennio Morricone music from The Thing in Hateful Eight. But like, I would say even of the Grindhouse, Planet Terror is maybe a little bit more Carpenter compared to Death Proof, at
Definitely.
least a little bit. And no, I don't see the Carpenter. I mean, he rips off a lot of other people, which at least he does it fairly well. But like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I thought was really good. Um, but I don't know. I mean, it's better than some other bullshit out there. Some of these directors who can't direct traffic, let alone direct a movie.
Yeah, I mean, at least like if he's ripping these, he can present it in a way where it's like it kind of hooks you in. I mean, it's always visually interesting the way that he does his movies, and like you can't deny that. Like you can't deny those movies are entertaining as hell, even if you hate the dialogue or whatever. Wes
Yeah,
says that his new podcast is the ultimate hipster cast.
yeah. Especially when you compare it with a lot of movies today. Like, I mean, you guys have mentioned, I mentioned, the Monsters and Texas Chainsaw Manicure, might as we call, fuck that movie, and Bros. You didn't see Bros, Sally. I did, and the director
Did you
cried
see
about it.
Bros?
Sally, yeah, it was a request, and the director is like, "If you don't go see this movie, you're a homophobe." I'm like, "It's shitty. It's a crap movie, regardless of who stars in it." And that's the thing with a lot of movies today is they think polit- their political stance is number one, and there's no other bad things about it because they made a political stance. I'm like, no, it has to be a funny comedy, and it's not. And if you want to see a lot of men fucking, I'm like, well, no, and it's not even funny. So, Bros, I don't know. Maybe if it was called Hose, maybe I'd like it better, but it
Listen,
sucked ass.
I'll be honest with you. I don't want to see a bunch of people fucking in any form in movies. Like that's not really like it's always super awkward to see that anyway. Like so I have
Yeah, that's
no
true.
interest in any of that to be honest. Like, but I if we're being realistic, man, like you can't make a comedy nowadays. I don't give a shit what kind of comedy it is. Like it's not going to be funny because you just can't make things funny now. You can't you can't offend anybody. You can't like tell any kind of jokes or anything like that. Like and I just feel like it's all just a bunch of bullshit nowadays anyway. So why even try to make a comedy in this environment? Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, like when Dave Chappelle does stand up and a tremendous amount of people get completely butthurt about it, And it's like, well, you're kind of proving how you're saying you're not sensitive, but you're the most sensitive. We're in the most pussified sensitive age where people live such a bubble that 10 years ago even you'd be kidding and you get there was a kid and a joke.
Yeah, you could like,
Nowadays people take it so damn seriously.
yeah, like people just didn't like automatically think that you were the worst person in the world for like thinking something was funny that wasn't PC. I don't know, man. Like you don't. That's why you never see comedies. Like number one, they don't do well in theaters anymore. But number two, you can't really make them, so there's no point in it, which is sad. Um, is Bros? Is this a serious question? Is Bros the Judd Apatow movie? No, no, I don't think so.
No.
And old Curly Jaw said he's always interested in something I can't say. Now here's the thing. So I kind of agree with Tarantino criticizing today's movies because two reasons. Number one, the vast majority of anything that gets made is either a sequel, a reboot, or a Marvel movie, and I hate all those. Like, how many fucking soft reboots of films have you seen where you were like, "Wow, like this is really great." Like this is even not even that it was better than the original, but that it was just a good movie, just period.
A reboot. I mean, that's tough. I mean, you've had the new Halloween films. Well, people like the Halloween 2018 movie. Is that called a soft reboot?
That I guess that is like a soft reboot, yeah, because it takes a lot of the original kind of storyline, gets rid of some of it, but takes like a vast majority of it. Yeah,
Of course, I'm one of those that I did not like it. I didn't care to see Jamie Lee Curtis as the crazy cat lady from The Simpsons. And uh, Halloween is done. I'm sorry, I went on a tangent, but you cannot do any more Michael Myers. He's done. He's finished. He's out on the lawn, gets shot by the Gran Torino. Clint Eastwood just shoot him already. Just he's done. There's nothing more he can do. And these three movies are just either the greatest hits or the greatest losses. It's just they've done everything you can do in Michael Myers, unless you can't put him in Space Kids. That'd be Jason X all over again. Like you cannot do anything with Michael Myers. It's done. It's finito. Let these characters end. I don't want to see Freddy. I don't want to see another Jason movie. It just you've done it all. What more can you do?
this is an interesting choice, Matt. Right here, I didn't even think of this.
Mm,
Mad Max's Fury Road. Yeah, I mean, like that's one I
yeah,
probably would say. Yeah, that actually worked, but that's because that guy's insane. And like he does all the practical stunts and stuff like that. Like George Miller, like number one, he's crazy, like legitimately like crazy, and number two, like everything he does is practical. So that's why I think those movies work as well as they
the
do.
only issue I had with that is I'm not a Tom Hardy guy. I would I
Yeah,
know he's not in the PC brigade, but I would have preferred if it was Mel Gibson one last time. It just Tom Hardy
he kind of dropped
just one
off
of
the
those
planet,
guys.
didn't he? Tom Hardy, I
He
mean.
was in those Venom movies,
Yeah,
the superhero Venom
to
movies.
me, if you're in a Marvel movie, it's like dropping off the planet because I never see him. Like, I didn't know you were in anything. Let's see. Suspiria reboot. That's true. Like, I mean, that worked. It wasn't like as good as the original by any stretch, but it was batshit crazy. We got a super chat here from. Hold on, let me pull this up. Ali Hamadu says we're getting a sequel to your epic rant. I'm not sure which one of us he's talking to be honest.
I think definitely yours. Where I was in the chat that night, I agreed with every word you said, and just that's the world today, man. Both
Yeah,
YouTube and the real world is how it is. Fucking
I
hell.
really do like hate the kind of the direction that movies have taken now. Like it's really depressing. The vast majority of stuff that I see is just awful, and it's always like retreads and things like that. Um, Every now and then they'll sneak something in that's kind of good, but like, and the horror films, some of the horror films they put out in the last year have actually been fairly decent. Um, and some of them I liked, but just, I mean, if you had like a graph that showed the shit to like good ratio, it would be like, tipping over at this point.
Oh yeah, I mean, Clerks 3, Halloween Ends, Prey, Chainsaw 2022, where they got mad for about a just converted flat for 10 minutes. I'm like, I don't know, maybe they're big fans of Dukes of Hazzard. I don't give a shit. I mean, that that did not serve the story. You guys have talked about it. It's crap. Stream 5. Oh, Stream 6, you see the teaser? It's a guy on a fucking subway. Cool.
I've told
Not.
you,
I don't
I've
care.
I've told you, man. Like I'm done with Scream and Halloween and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Those franchises, I don't give a shit what they do with them. Like they can put them in space, in the hood, in like whatever you want to do. But I'm not watching that crap anymore. That it's you never walk out of those movies like, oh wow, they really did a good job. Like you just always walk out mad. How was Smile? That's one I haven't seen yet. I need to
I
watch
haven't
that.
seen it.
Let's see. Carter says movies have been progressively sucking for at least 15 years. It's just now hit rock bottom in terms of writing and creativity. Could super bad? No, that's what I'm saying. Like you couldn't make anything like remotely controversial now.
Yeah,
Uh,
Sally, yeah. And they just lack of talent as well.
very true.
Infinity Pool.
Uh,
Didn't see the trailer.
I hadn't seen that either. Why you think some enjoy ends?
Halloween
It,
Ends.
yeah, it's
It's
beyond me,
beyond
bro.
me, bro.
It's fucking beyond me too. And Garrett, I love Garrett to death as a part of the show and everything, and just as a human being. But I will never in a million years understand like how that movie is good. Like to me, like in his opinion, it's like that we're all missing something, and it's like this gonna be this cult classic in a couple years. I just when I watched it, I just saw a fucking mess of like a bunch of different ideas that didn't congeal like whatsoever.
Yeah, I saw that the first time. It was during a stream just because I was bored that night. And when the kid got kicked like a football and bounced like a basketball, I busted a gut laughing. I was supposed to be horrified. And I'm like, Corey, who the fuck is Corey? Why do I give a shit about Corey? I
That was
mean,
me. That was me
fuck
too. I'm like,
Corey.
what? I was like, what the fuck? Like, number one, if you're going to introduce a new character into like a mythology like that, right? He should probably be memorable in some way. This guy was just like the biggest piece of shit, like puss cake. He just comes in there like, it's Corey. Like we're supposed to give a shit about Corey in the middle of all it. Okay.
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say okay. Like if you want me to care about Corey, I guess.
Like, here's the thing: they know, I don't know if they knew they were making a trilogy. If you want to try to do it, you build them up maybe in the first and the second, and then write them better so people care. So that it leads to this. But then it's like out of the blue, Michael Myers is a wimp, and he gets his ass kicked, and he hide away in the sewer, even though he. And I know, I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent.
No.
Didn't the second one talk about how the more he kills, the stronger he gets? And then at
Yes,
the end
that
of that
was
movie,
the
he
that
killed
was
like
the whole point of the movie, right? Like it was talking about like, he was building up to like Hulk up or
and he killed
something.
like 80 people at the end,
Yeah.
including Anthony Michael Hall. which I know Wes loved, but he killed everybody, including Anthony Michael Hall. He killed everybody. He killed the daughter. So he should be like super ninja, like super Michael Myers, super duper,
Like Super Shredder.
super exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Get Kevin Nash to play as long as he doesn't bust his hip again. There you go.
Yeah, there was a lot about that movie, and I still firmly believe that the theory about that movie was really like two movies because the studio made him change it. Like I think he was going to go full Corey. I think he wanted to go full Corey and not really have Michael Myers in it, and the studio was just like, nope. Like that's the money, got to have Michael. So he reshot a bunch of shit and put like sewer Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Myers in there, and then you got what you got now, which is just an awful mess of a film.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those few that I thought all three sucked. I know a lot of people like the 2018 film. I just went. 2018 was like a remake of H2O. Halloween Kills was like he killed a bunch of people. Cool, that's it.
Yep.
This and then the new one tried to be like, remember the end of Halloween 4? We don't do that and
Yep.
screw it up. And it's like no new ideas, terrible characters, and people load to the gore. There's movies. I mean, go watch a movie called Violent Shit, which is a real like 5 movie, just a guy killing people in gory ways. And literally, this is called Violent Shit, the franchise.
It's AKA Terrifier now. Like if you want to
Well,
watch
yeah, that's
people
true, yeah.
just kill people in violent ways, just watch that series.
Exactly.
This is a great point though. He says Apollo says I miss when movie studios adapted horror books, which is a trend that seems to have died in favor of one concept movies that are easily advertised. There's some great stories to be adapted. Yeah, they don't really do that anymore. Unless it's like Stephen King, and they don't really even do Stephen King that movies that often either. Like it usually gets like a Netflix series or something now.
Yeah, for the most part, they want a recognizable IP because that they feel general audiences won't go see a film that's not a known franchise or recognizable name because they
Very
think
true.
the audience are idiots.
They really do hate us, by the way, the audience. I mean,
Oh yeah,
Garrett Wes says Garrett liked it because the dude's name was Corey. That's really the only thing it could be. Yeah. Ends is a horror movie you watch with your girlfriend, and y'all just start getting it on, and instead of finishing the movie. Yeah, pretty much. It's easily the worst film in the franchise. That Troll Monster movie was bad. I haven't seen Troll yet, the new Uber Troll movie, but I actually want to see that. To be fair, he says, Tales from the Tape, all three of the new Halloween movies sucked. Yeah, kinda.
I agree. But I hate everything, so that's norm for me.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to hate, to be honest. There's a lot of room for hate in this current environment. Can you imagine the David Gordon Green Exorcist movies? No, I can't. We're going to see him soon, but I cannot imagine.
Good luck with that.
All he wants is to teabag the like button. So we appreciate that, man. So
Good plan.
let's see what else I had on here. I had some other shit that I was going to talk about ordering and stuff. So no, I talked about all of it. The Martin set being the last thing. The George Romero Martin. That's one of the last movies that I could think of. Somebody asked this question earlier, like, what are movies that you wish had Blu-rays or what? Man, there's really not a whole hell of a lot left, is there? Because, like, everything you can think of almost that you would want to see on, like, DVD or Blu-ray is out on DVD or Blu-ray. There's very few things anymore where it's like, I could think of, like, a couple, like, if I was really pushing it, like, I love those Barbarian Brothers movies. I know they're pure shit, but, like, I grew up on them, and there's, like, a couple of those that aren't out on anything really. Like that I would like to see out. But I mean, that's really scraping the bottom of the barrel, isn't it?
Uh, are we talking about horror or any movie in general?
He was talking about a horror, but I'm just talking about like
Okay.
any movie in general that like you
Oh,
would
for
want to
me,
see.
there's tons. I mean, whether it be action films, like there's this one I like called Stakeout with Emilio Estevez, Richard Dreyfuss.
And they have Rosie
No
O'Donnell in
Blu-ray
it,
for
or
that.
was she in the second one?
Rose O'Donnell's in the second one.
Okay,
That's the one to
yeah,
avoid.
okay,
And that's the one they gave a Blu-ray to. Is the bad second one.
of course.
First one, no. Like Metro with Eddie Murphy is a film I like that never got a Blu-ray. There's quite a few, and even horror, they'd be like deep cuts, like ones that you never get, like The First Watchers.
Oh yeah, that one.
I know Michael Phillips. Yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of which, they put out the second one of that damn thing, and then didn't put out the first one, which I'll never understand. It must be a rights thing or something.
Yeah, it is. Because they don't fully own the. Roger Corman fully owns Watchers 2 and forth, but the first one, because it went in theaters, they had to deal with another company, and then they're dealing. They don't know where those rights are at.
Wes says he'd like to get a decent T2 release with a proper remaster. Somebody was talking about, I don't remember if it was you or not, Matt, but it was talking about like there's a T2 master where like they so remastered it that everybody looks like almost like a fucking cartoon figure or something. Like it like blended in like their features and everything so much to the point where it looks unnatural. I don't know if like you'd heard that about one of those
I didn't
releases.
talk about it, but I've heard of that. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people complain about that. That's just janked. And you would think of all films, that'd be the one to take proper care of, but apparently not.
Yeah,
James
man.
Cameron's too busy doing 14 Avatar films.
Of any movie that should have like an amazing Ultimate Edition, it would be Terminator 2. But it doesn't.
You would think.
Hard Target's got a 4K, doesn't it?
Yeah, from Kino Lorber. I still have to pick it up someday, but I didn't pick it up because initially they screwed up like all these companies do, so I was waiting for them to fix it.
That seems to be like kind of par for the course with a lot of these companies now, doesn't it?
Why do you think that's the case?
They're
Because it didn't seem like that was the case when there was just Blu-rays. Maybe it was. I didn't hear it, but
Well, Don May Jr. has a theory on it that I actually kind of think is probably true. That a lot of these companies, especially the ones that are like mass producing a lot of these discs, are kind of running all this stuff through like these automated rendering kind of machines that so they're not personally taking and they oftentimes they'll sub this out to another company, right? So they're not personally like looking at the quality of what's going on. They'll give it to some other company to remaster. That company will run it through a machine that basically automatically like restores parts of the film. But what ends up happening is like whenever you do something like that, like it'll kick the colors and the contrast and shit up really way too high to the point where the movie will end up looking like really over processed and shitty. So in order to do a movie well, you have to have people there that are looking at the different frames of the film and being like step by step, this is what it should look like and like going through and putting in the time and effort to do it. These companies are just not doing that. Like they're just not they don't and they don't need to because half people can't tell like a decent looking film from like something that looks like shit anyway. So why would they? Like why would they care?
yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. And this is another one I haven't seen yet either. The original Dollars trilogy Blu-ray set because there was a newer box set where they completely changed the color grading and ruined the movies. Yeah, there's a new 4K set somewhere.
Oh.
Is that the Blu-ray? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Speak of them. Yeah, they do that a lot. I don't know why they do that. It's like John Carver's The Thing. It's like there's the one that's more blue, and then there's the one that's more non-blue. But I think it's the Stream Factor one that's more blue. But if you get the Arrow video, it's more like it was on the DVD. Well,
There's 100 versions of Halloween, and there's like a problem with 99 of those versions of Halloween. I swear to God, man, like they tried so many different ways to remaster that movie, and it failed so many times. It's ridiculous. Like I don't even know what the
so
definitive version of Halloween is at this point.
yeah, I was just going to ask that. Like, which is the one?
I don't know. I'm sure different people have. There's some where they left the blue in. There's some where they took it out. There's some where they overcorrected the color, and some where they undercorrected it. Like I'm sure different people probably have different opinions on what's the best, release of it. Scream Factory. Let's see. Did you know that Scream Factory has limited Blu-ray release of the first Blood Fist movie?
Oh, at first I thought you said First Blood. I'm like, what?
That'd be
First Blood
amazing.
Fist. Okay. Don the Dragon Wilson.
This is universally accepted, though, as the truth. The Laserdisc of Halloween was supposed to be the best version. Yeah.
Okay.
Curtis says Second Sight has the best transfers by far. Well, that's good because they have the worst goddamn customer service by far. I'm glad that the transfers are good.
By the way, did you watch, like, I know you mentioned the other night Jeff Speakman,
Yes.
The Perfect Weapon.
Yeah.
Did you, were there other guys other than Van Damme you watched in that time, martial arts? Like
Oh,
Don the
yeah.
Dragon Wilson
I was
or any
going
of
to
these other
say,
guys?
so there was Don the Dragon Wilson. There was Cynthia Rothrock back then. There was Bolo Young. He had a bunch of movies out. There was, you had like your Segals. You had like your bigger name guys, but there was like Billy Blanks. There was always like other guys that kind of got popular there for a while. I think that Speakman movie though was just one that I was always confused as to why he didn't make it big off that movie because it's as good, if not better, than like all those Van Damme and Seagal movies that came out around that time.
Yeah, that was with Paramount, and he had a three-picture deal, but sadly what happened was the guy that got him the job was his producer who helped produce, I think it's Kickboxer, but he had this big thing with the studio where he wanted things done his way, despite what Jeff and others wanted, and they just pretty much pissed the studio off, and then the deal went on for so long that the three-picture deal was canceled, and then at one point, Jeff Speedman got a script, and it was going to be the movie Speed. But then the
Oh
studio
Jesus!
sold it to Fox. They sold it to Fox because they thought, oh, whatever, this script. And then, no, we want that script back. Nah, it's too bad, sold. And then, as that was getting pre-produced, I think Jeff Speedman had to do a movie, so he did one of the last canon films, which was a film called Street Night. And there's like a year later, Canon Films is gone like the dodo.
Yeah,
And then there was straight to video after that.
I always wondered that, so I'm glad to get some sort of answer as to what the hell happened to Jeff Speakman's career because
I
that
Yeah.
that movie is insanely good. Like it checks off all the boxes of like a good action film.
If you like Jeff Speedman, I do recommend one called Daily Outbreak. It is lower budget, but it has a lot of action, a lot of Jeff Speakman. Ron Silver was the bad guy in Time Cop. He's the bad guy in this.
Yeah, I love Ron Silver.
Daily Takeover, it's on Tubi. I think it's Daily Takeover. But if you like those 90s action films, Daily Outbreak, Daily Takeover is definitely worth a watch for anyone out there.
I also forgot about another dude that was huge back in the '80s that like probably doesn't get as much recognition now as Dudikoff. Like Michael Dudikoff, man. Like he made like a ton of those movies that were kind of forgotten, and
Oh, yeah.
those were great too.
Yeah, American Ninja 1 and 2, Avenging Force, Platoon Leader. And one quick note of Daily Outbreak, you know it's a good movie when Jeff Speedman shoots a guy in the balls and goes, I guess you forgot your bulletproof cup.
What the fuck? Yeah, that's the one thing I miss most about action movies, like the one-liners. They don't do that much anymore. Oh yeah, I tell you a movie I watched recently where I was like, "Holy shit, this is actually fairly decent." Like action movie is Bullet Train. Have you seen Bullet Train?
In fact, I
Uh,
did see that, and there you go.
yeah, I mean, I was like amazed, dude. Like I didn't expect anything out of that movie, and it was like insanely good to have
Yeah,
the cast that it did.
yeah, the dialogue was really good. Had a little bit of that Tarantino flavor, and other than a bit too much CG at the end, it was a lot of fun. Brad Pitt was good.
Yeah.
Really enjoyable film if you like that. And one I recommend for those who like action that came out recently is at least I enjoyed it, called Day Shift. I thought that was a very fun one. Uh, has
Oh,
Jamie Foxx in it.
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
vampire action movie.
that was a good one too. Just in terms
Be
of like
better than the new Blade film.
yeah, that's kind of what it was, really. I mean, without the half vampire thing. Yeah. What to see? He says, was the Speakman movie called Outbreak Deadly Takeover?
Well, it's two titles. Overseas, there's Daily Takeover. I think that's what it's called on Tubi. And then in the US on VHS, it was called Daily Outbreak. So
There you go.
that's two titles. But directed by a stunt guy, and those seem to be the guys that know how to do action nowadays. Because stunt guys did Day Shift, they did the John Wick films, they did Nobody. So it seems like those are guys that know more about action than fucking Ridley Scott or whatever the hell
Ridley Scott's
nowadays.
really he's on a losing streak for a while. Jackson
Yeah.
says Bullet Train looked a lot like Cop Shop. Have you seen Cop Shop? No, Matt, have you seen it?
Yeah, I mean, that's what Gerard Butler, I believe. I didn't care for it. There's a lady in it who just she had about as much as personality as a table. It just she was just boring as shit, and I I don't really see the connection. But like I say, with any film, seek out for yourself. Doesn't matter what I say, just go for it.
Right. I mean, yeah, any of these
The
movies, like,
boss, yeah, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, yeah, man. I mean, Brian Bosworth, like, he made the classic, quintessential, movie before he just his career went to shit too, which was Stone Cold. Um, but really, the best part of Stone Cold to me is Lance Henriksen. But I mean, Bosworth is good in it too, and William Forsythe as well.
Yeah, so Lance Henriksen was all around the bad guys. That one, Hard Target. This one I saw recently called Excessive Force with Thomas Ian Griffith. Uh, and Tony Todd was in it. So, yeah, bad guy in a lot of pretty fun action movies in the 90s.
Isn't it weird though that Tony Todd was in like a lot of action? He was in Platoon, and he was in what was the other one where he was a soldier? Was he in one of the Die Hard movies or something like the Die Hard movies? And he was like a
Hmm.
freaking like one of the random soldier dude.
Hmm.
He wasn't in Con Air, was he?
No.
Okay. Well, somebody will know this.
It-
He was in a movie like that, like as like a random kind of soldier. But anyway, for a
hmm.
while there, I think he was going like on the action route, and then Candyman happened, and that all kind of took a back seat.
Was he in The Rock?
The Rock, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I think he was in The Rock. I think him or the other guy got blown up by the rocket. You're the Rocket Man. It was
Yeah,
him or the other guy. I think he was The Rock.
it was. There's a bunch of people on here that are putting it up.
Oh, okay.
I was just talking about this not too long ago, man. Talking about Night Killer. It's a movie from Claudio Fragasso. It's pretty bad, kind of fun. Yeah, lots of rape. Steve will love it. This is the movie I was talking about earlier that was called Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. That Severin actually put a slipcover with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 on it because it's like the Italian, they wanted it to be like the Italian version of that, and I guess confuse some people and get them to buy it. So that's out of print now, and that's the one that I just recently ordered. Uh, uh, you know this one? Something about a new series by the director of the Raid films.
Mm, nah, I haven't. Not sure what that would be.
I haven't seen that either.
I just haven't looked up a lot of movie news because most of the time it just made me angry.
I looked some of it up earlier, and I was like, "Holy shit! I don't ever want to look at this again." Like, uh, it used to
You really want to
be.
blow your. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like it used to be like when we did the show. That was the first part of the show was us, and it went on for like page upon page, about the news and what was coming out. Now I look at it and it's like just it's maybe a page and it's all bullshit. It's like the Winnie the Pooh movie, and like you know, here's the fucking Nicolas Cage vampire movie. Like it's kind of all depressing, really.
Yeah, the Grinch one, the mean one. There's the yeah. I can't think of a horror film coming out that I'd be intrigued by. I'm just being honest.
I won't say the word intrigued, but I'm curious to see what the Exorcist films look when they do that shit. Like that's bound to be a giant mistake. Like just on an epic level of mistake that'll be.
Is that movie Megan, the female Chucky?
Oh yeah, I have seen that. Which isn't that doesn't it look like an updated version of Dolly Dearest to you?
That's what I've said. When
Yeah.
I did a stream, I said the same thing. I saw this movie called Dolly Dearest that had Tashiar in it. Pet Cemetery. I forgot her name.
From Pet
I
Cemetery?
forgot her. Yeah, the lady in the original Pet Cemetery,
Oh
the Denise Crosby. She
yeah.
was in Dolly Dearest.
Yep,
I mean,
Denise Crosby.
they remade that. Great.
Oh fuck, Wet Movie's back. And he apparently wants to touch my dick demon.
Uh-oh.
Listen, I'm still trying to get my dick demon like fixed and erect. So you're gonna have to hold off on the dick demon until like, cause right now he's just flaccid and not feeling it.
Maybe get a needle and some Viagra. Maybe it'll help.
Yeah. If y'all want to see a good shot on video slasher, check out The Hackers. It's from '88 and was awesome. '80s soundtrack. Told Vinegar Syndrome is releasing it next year on Blu-ray. Well, that would be awesome. Never heard of it. Also, Dick Demon. So, Matt, I wanted to show this on here while we got like a ton of people on here that are coming over to see my Dick Demon. Um, I found these in storage recently, and like I got like a nostalgia boner. Speaking of Dick Demons, and I wanted to kind of like show some of these on here. And remember a time when like horror was actually kind of good. So, I found a ton of Fangoria magazines from the 80s and 90s. And it's amazing, man. Like, that they actually, like, shit was actually good like this at one time or another. So, you got, like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. And all these, like, back in the day had posters and stuff, like, on the inside that you could put up on the wall. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And also they had on the back. Yes, I've got that. I've got that in here. Yeah. Do you remember this on the back, Matt? Like you could send away for your masks. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
massacre masks. Man, this was back in the day. Like nowadays, you can get this stuff like anywhere on the internet. Back then, if you wanted to get anything like this, you basically had to go through these magazines. Yeah. Ugh. But I just thought that these were cool. A lot of them I had like uh, Dick Smith's makeup, and you got the Prophecy. This is one of my favorites because we were talking about this movie not too long ago. Funhouse, like the original, which was a cool design. Friday the 13th, Part 5. That's back in the day.
Sally more blooded there, and then in the movie, Sally, since they call it all out.
That's true. And here's the horrifying 100th edition.
What year is that 100 one? Does it say a year on the 100?
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to have to... Here we go. Oh, shit. I thought it did. Well, one of the people can look it up because it doesn't have a date, amazingly. So look
Okay.
up when the... Somebody on here, look up when the 100th edition of Fangoria came out. It looks... Can't really tell because there's no movies on it. But it's, I don't know, March or some year. American Werewolf in London? You know,
Very nice.
that should take you back. And here's one that I probably wouldn't give like $1,000 for. This is The
Oh,
Effects of the Thing.
damn.
Friday the 13th, Part 4. Now they're showing like the cleaver effect. Just a good old classic Freddy edition. Oh, let's see which one was that? This is the 50th issue, and this was Nightmare on Elm Street 2. And the last one that I got, just that I picked up, was House. So this is
Nice.
86, I guess. Yeah. But anyway, I got a ton
Yeah.
more of these. But I just thought, like, I found all those, and I was like, I didn't even remember where the hell I put them, man. And like, seeing that again was amazing.
Yeah, the two things I remember when you talked about on the show was number one, when you broke the news when some of the parts burned down and the whole fire happened. And they lost a lot of stuff because of that. And that's why it's very lucky that you have that collection there.
Well,
That
here's
and the video you guys did calling out Tony Timpone,
oh
where you're in
my
the
God.
junkyard. They're like,
Yeah,
this garbage is a bunch of trash.
that's right. It was back then and still is, really. Nowadays, I think it's like $18, $20 a magazine or something. It's something crazy now.
I'm surprised they still make a magazine that you just figured it would be 100% now on their website. I'm surprised they still make it.
Me too.
And for $20, I'm not paying for a magazine that's probably the same thing and what's going to give me insights to Chainsaw 22 and how much, Halloween Ends sucks. No.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the hell they talk about nowadays, really. It's kind of sad because you couldn't have a magazine like that be like 5 pages long. It's like, hey, here's a bunch of bullshit, and then
Was there one that was a favorite, or you just liked all of them the same? Or is there one that caught your eye the most?
the
that you
Fangoria
remember?
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of them, man, that I can remember like back from like growing up. The that Funhouse one, like I'll always remember that cover just because like it's just like that movie is whatever, but that image is kind of like iconic. The Friday the 13th Part 8 one's another one I remember with like the Jason from that. that version of Jason being on the cover and everything too. And there's a lot of really good ones too. The first couple were more like sci-fi. Like I've got a couple of the first three on here. Like Godzilla is the first one. I think Christopher Lee is like some sort of like Arabian shit is like one of the first three. It wasn't like horror films. It was just a weird kind of mixture. So a lot of people still subscribing to like Rue Morgue and things like that. I would have no idea even like how to go about doing that now. Yeah, Fangoria one was the Godzilla cover. Yep.
Weirdly enough, a funny story about this one. This is how I found out that Army of Darkness had. I thought Army of Darkness was just one movie. I never knew it was a sequel when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So when I got this, I was looking through it, and then I read, if I can find the page, I was just flipping through it, had nice pictures and stuff, and then I saw this image here,
Yeah.
and it's about Evil Dead 1 and 2. I'm like, wait a minute, that guy looks familiar. And then I'm reading about Evil Dead 2. I'm like, wait, a guy with a chainsaw? Is that the guy from... Holy shit. And then this is how I found out that there were two films before Army of Darkness, because I thought it was just a one and done Big Trouble in Little China type of movie. And I'm like, holy shit, it's a part 3? Goddamn. And then I saw Evil Dead 2, which became my favorite. Then I saw Evil Dead 1. So I'm one of those that for some reason saw them backwards and early. But this is how I found out about them. So.
I'm pretty sure I did. I think I saw Evil Dead 2 first. I know I saw it before I saw Evil Dead. And probably before Army of Darkness. I don't know why, but Evil Dead 2 just was one of those movies that was everywhere when I was growing up. Like that damn thing was just like, you couldn't escape that cover of the skeleton, head on the VHS. So here's an interesting question, though. Do either of us have gore zones or gore gazettes? I've got a couple of gore zones in here. Not many, though. It's mostly all Fangoria.
Not Sally. I never read any of them. I just knew them from these advertisements back in the day, but I never read the actual. Was there a big difference between them and Fangoria, or just? I mean, the title I know.
No.
But
I'm not sure. Like I think the Gorezone was just like, hey, this shit's making a lot of money. Like we should do the same format. And I think they were a lot more into like pictures than Fangoria was. Like they were the Hustler to Fangoria's like Playboy, if that makes any sense.
That does make sense.
Here's the interesting part about those though. Those I did not have. Like I didn't have those when I was a kid. A fan of the show sent CK and I don't know how many people remember this, but like way back in the day, a fan of the show sent us like a shit ton of Fangoria back issues. And it's still in the box over here that he sent it in, like with the address and everything. So we got all those, like, and we split them up. Like he took, one, I took 2, 3, 4. You know what I mean? Like we just went down. I think he was like every single one for up to a point in time. Like he had every one of them. But yeah, that's how that came to
That's very cool.
Oh Jesus! Whatever happened to the Lovely Ladies of Dead Pit section? Is that the OnlyFans now? I don't know. I think we quit doing that after a while. Yeah, if you sub to OnlyFans, you'll just get Steve. Was there an action movie equivalent to Fangoria? I mean, was there like a magazine that was just like action movies?
Not a whole lot. I mean, there's they're not really about movies, just about martial artists, and then they'll bring up a movie that was coming out that featured them, but not really one specifically about action films. There's like one random magazine back in the day, like 90s action stars, but sadly nothing like that. But horror is really one of the genres that gets very much Like you don't see him on dramas or comedies, but you see him with horrors. He's a whether it be memorabilia, T-shirts. Aside from other random or exceptions, horror seems like in a way the most marketable. Maybe because for that in sci-fi, they feel those folks they will pay the most money, which I guess is true. I mean, you look at some of the stuff comes out, and I mean, how many people buy slip covers for $100, which I'll never understand, but hey, it's their money, it's not mine. So,
Dude,
uh,
yeah, there's a lot of people that do that nowadays. And you're right, like horror and sci-fi seem to be the most kind of like, I don't know, the fan base is the most for that particular genre. I'm not sure why that is either. With probably like action films being like the third, like because there is a fan base for like action and kung fu and martial arts movies and things like that, but it's not as like crazy as horror and sci-fi for some reason. Let's see. Yeah, horror and sci-fi are the top two. Okay, if y'all could keep three 80s horror movies, which ones would y'all choose based on rewatchability? The Thing. For me, it would be The Thing. Um, Rewatchability, something that I could watch like over and over and over again. Texas Chainsaw. Fuck. Okay, I know those two. I know those two right off the top of my head. The third one is hard for me to think about.
yeah, it's hard for me because I keep thinking of action movies like Aliens is an action movie, Predator is an action movie, so those don't count. I fit them in the action category. Uh, the Blob remake from 1988 for me is as a personal favorite of mine. The Thing's a good one.
Oh, he said 80s horror. I'm sorry. Okay. So take out Texas Chainsaw.
Oh,
Okay. The Thing, because it's from the 80s. Okay. So The Thing came out in 81, 80, 81, 82, 82.
82. The Thing,
Okay.
82.
So The Thing. I mean, Aliens is pretty damn rewatchable. I don't know if you consider that a horror film or a sci-fi film or an action
Yeah,
film. I don't know how the hell you really classify that movie, but it's really rewatchable though.
yeah.
Okay, okay. Reanimator. I would put Reanimator in there. Evil Dead 2. I could watch Evil Dead 2 at any point. We were just talking about that. I could watch that movie at any point in time and like thoroughly enjoy that movie. So I could put that in there too.
Yeah, those are good choices. I had to think about that for a while. Yeah, the Blob would be on there, and the Thing I put on there, and for 80s, fuck. Uh, I'll put it's a childhood favorite. I'll put Leviathan. You know, see Uncle Bill shit over it. I was just fucking with it.
That's a
But
deep
I
dive, man.
saw your Street Factory show. You guys took a big fucking dump on. I'm like, yeah, that was kid. But but
We did.
that's
I'm
a
not gonna
childhood
lie.
favorite.
Is that wait a minute? Now I get for some reason I always get Leviathan and Deep Star Six like mixed up every single time. So Leviathan is that the one with fucking Peter Weller in it?
Yeah,
Okay, all right. So at
yeah,
least I
yeah, yeah.
okay. Some people are saying The Fog, The Beyond, Trick or Treat, Return of the Living Dead. Return of the Living Dead would be an excellent choice. Yeah.
Good choices.
Demons. Demons would be another good choice. Christine, Halloween 4, My Bloody Valentine. These are all good, rewatchable kind of movies. Always enjoyed From Beyond, but From Beyond's insane. It may be more insane than Reanimator, really. But while we got all these people in here, So I'm curious because I got a couple things I got to contractually plug here for upcoming shows, or CK is going to beat the shit out of me. But do you got anything, Matt? Like, what do you got coming up?
I just on my channel. I'm I upload like 3, 4 videos a day. That's only because people are generous enough to send requests, and I don't want to keep them waiting too much. So I just each day I just try to get 3 or so up. So just random stuff, requested stuff, and then I know people aren't really into horror video games, but I'm playing a new one called the Callisto Protocol, which underrated fun game. It's pretty much John Carpenter's theme, but in outer space.
I
So
saw that. I
um,
saw that you were playing that, and I'm so like out of touch with like video games at this point. You know what I mean?
no, I understand. Sadly for me, like horror games are more interesting to me than horror movies. But uh,
I
well,
get
look
that.
at the horror movies come out today.
Yeah, there's not a lot of stuff to really look forward to. I'll give you that. Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. So, what you got coming up?
Well, the big thing that I guess I should plug is, you know, Vinegar Syndrome has the big New Year's sale thing coming up, and it's at 12. Make sure I get this right. 12 p.m., which is like middle of the day, noon. So we're doing an 11:30, starting at 11:30 a.m. show of that. So we'll start at 11:30, and then they'll start the big sale at 12 noon, and then we will, either buy stuff, not buy stuff, yada yada yada, whatever else. But at least we'll be on there talking about it. So that's the one big show that I know about. That's coming up here in I guess it's this weekend. Yeah. And I'm trying to think if we got anything else. If he's in here, he's got to help me plug this shit because I don't ever keep up with anything that we do. That's one thing you should know about me. I'm horrible at like keeping up with any of the shows that we have planned. Oh yeah, The Hidden from '87. That's one of my favorite like little known action sci-fi film. It's a great movie. And one of the very few like Kyle MacLachlan movies that doesn't include David Lynch.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. I guess CK may not still be in here. If there's any other shows, just go over to fucking Dead Pit on YouTube, or go over to End of the Dead Pit on Instagram. You should probably add us on Instagram because it's making everybody sad that we don't have as many followers as we should. And go over on YouTube and subscribe. Click some bells and do some shit like that. I don't even know what all you do anymore. But I do know that I appreciate Matt being on here and taking his time out and like coming on and doing the show. If you are not
Thank you.
familiar, like yeah, definitely check out Rambo Raff for Life, and he's got like I think you're uploading at least 3 or 4 different videos a day at this point, right?
Yeah, I just put it on there because people can pick and choose all of them, none of them, one of them. Again, people send in requests, so I put them up for them to get them up there as soon as possible. So I figure it's the least I could do. So yeah, pretty much 2 or 3 a day, and it's a lot of random stuff, but still fun.
See,
And
we
thanks for
need.
having me. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, man. Always, we always have you on here. Like we need a system like that where we can just fucking like people can just request movies all day long, like Patreon, like just whatever. You know what I mean? We need to start doing that. Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
get a lot
yeah.
of interesting choices.
I guarantee you. Yeah, it's probably a lot of bullshit that people just want you to watch to torture you. I'm glad Suspirium brings this up. There's a physical media storage stream coming up. I don't know when, but yeah, it's one of the next like kind of like how to organize your physical media because at this point, my organization is I'm looking at like probably 50 Blu-rays that are stuffed into like a TV cabinet. So that's how I'm currently organizing my stuff. So somebody here wants to know
Copyright. Uh,
copyright.
that's when I tried to do it like all these other guys do it with footage, And YouTube's like, nope,
Not today.
1 or 2 months is fine, and you're done. It was a claim, and then it got blocked. That's the funny thing about YouTube. They'll be up fine for 2 months, and then after 2 months, it's like, nah, we changed our mind. It's blocked. I'm like, well, if no one can see it, but people could show the entire movie in their videos, and they're perfectly fine. So yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm really confused by Netflix's like policy towards all this shit, man. Because like we got some stuff where we'll show trailers and it's absolutely perfectly fine, and then there'll be
Netflix?
do what?
You said Netflix?
Did I say Netflix? Fuck, I meant
Yeah.
I meant YouTube. I don't know if why I said
Okay.
Netflix.
That's what I was confused. I'm like, okay, YouTube. Go ahead. Sorry.
But just like we'll have like whole shows based on like doing trailers that'll be perfectly fine on YouTube. And then we'll do like where you show one trailer on a stream and they take the whole fucking thing down. It's like I'm confused by their policies and procedures.
It's very random. I mean, throughout my time on YouTube, that's why I'm very blasé on showing anything, because there's one time I showed like a thumbnail picture and YouTube got mad. I have a friend that showed I have a friend, good guy, Michael Keane. He'd review Terrifier 2. He showed like 3 still pictures, and after 2 days, YouTube took the video down with a strike. But then there's people that are reacting to the film for 40 minutes, showing the entire movie as they're going, those reactions.
I know. I don't understand that, man.
Yeah. It's just YouTube. It's just the algorithm randomness. They're out of mind, out of sight, don't care. Just how it is. The name of the game.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not like with still photos on YouTube, you're really going to be getting any kind of like,
Exactly.
That's not something that brings in the people, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yes, my mind is fried after Christmas. And yes, motherfucker, and I've had other people say this too. The Wednesday show on Netflix is good. I don't care what anybody says. You should watch it. Even if you don't think you'll like it, you should just watch it anyway, and you will probably like it. So, I'm Uncle Rad, and this has been another edition of Radstreet USA. I want to thank my special guest, Matt, Rambo Raft for Life, for coming on. And we will do another one of these. I'm always like interested in doing stuff like this, just a lot of times during the holidays and times where there's downtime and you don't have to worry about any kind of work or anything like that. So we will do these again soon. But man, yeah, I appreciate it. And I guess we will see you all later. Peace.
Give us the thumbs up.
Up you butts.
Like, subscribe. And if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a if you do or
I
don't.
want you to. I want you to.
I don't care.
Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to do nothing.
Listen, they need to do that now.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up. Subscribe. And click that bell.
Hey everyone, it's Oak Early Jaws. We got some great shirts for you. We got Faces of Death Part 2. We got Creepy Stories to Tell in Kentucky. The Colonel Would Approve. We also got DeadPit.com. We got Dead Pit Radio with the little fucking Dead Pit dude on there. We got It Never Ends, a Halloween spoof parody of the new movie. We got It at Night. We got the Rad Pack, Uncle Rad himself. It just gets better and better. So go on and get you some shirts over at Team Public. It just gets better and better, boss.
Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. DeadPitOnPatreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows and fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.